Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Film Snobbery. I am your host, the film snob, Nic Baisley. We've got a great show for you today. I'm here joined, as usual, not always, but as usual, by co-host, director of Stuck Like Chuck, director Jerry Cavallero.
Hi everyone.
It's Jerry. Look at him go. Um,
Hi.
we've got a
I'll try to be more as usual, and I won't be always, but I'll try to be more as usual.
Well, we've got a great show for everyone today. We've actually almost got too much show to pack into an hour, but we're going to try our best to sandwich it all in. So one of the things we're going to start, we're going to talk about today, among other things, and please join us to the end because we've got a great guest coming on. We've got Lisamarie Costabile, and she's going to come on. She's an actress. She's out in L.A., actually originally from my neck of the woods here in Massachusetts. We're going to talk to her about her acting and film career, and hopefully some of you other indies out there can get whiff of her and either A, hire her, or B, at least take a lesson or two from her as far as her career is concerned and apply it to your own career. So the first thing we're going to talk about, and this was prompted by, the reason why we're talking about this is because everyone is talking about it right now, and it really kind of warrants a mention. There's an independent film out there that I've known about for a little while now. It's every time it's had a screening anywhere, it's gotten huge press. It's sold out. And then recently, we talked about this a little bit, but recently it actually it wound up on BitTorrent or the Pirate Bay, or it's been torrented many hundreds of thousands of times. It's actually been seen more than at this point than some of the mainstream movies that are actually out in theaters right now. That movie is actually right here. It's available now for sale on DVD and Blu-ray. The movie's called Ink. And so these guys here put out a movie that is obviously so good that people can't wait to buy it on DVD. But it's but they're definitely getting a lot of downloads for free. So I don't know. Jerry, I'm going to pose this question to you. I'm also going to pose it to everyone here in the audience. Do you feel that piracy is good for indie?
We talked a little bit about this on Tuesday, and I think it kind of depends. I would say for this type of thing, it's already been getting so much press and everything, but it did get what was it? It was over 100,000 viewers or something like that, right?
Yes, several, a couple 100,000. I think they're past 100,000. I think it was 150 when it really broke. The news broke and it got noticed.
So I think that's actually kind of amazing. I mean, they're not getting the money for it, obviously, but they're getting so much recognition from this, it might be worth it in this case to take the loss of the sales. Plus, you have a movie like that, I think they have some really awesome bonus features, and it seems like a movie that they have a Blu-ray, which most indies don't. So if you're an actual fan of it, you might still head to the store and buy the Blu-ray. Plus, they got some awesome bundles, and it's a pretty cheap deal, too. I think it was like $35, you get the Blu-ray, you get some autographs, you get a poster. So I think it might be helping. It might help them. I'm sure they're upset about losing the money at first, but
yep. And for those of you who are out there looking for Ink, definitely you can find it. I believe over at www.doubleedgefilms.com. Definitely look for it there. Some great stuff. Do you really think that this piracy? That kind of ran rampant with it, it's a good way for them to actually gain or find their audience. I mean, if they can kind of nail down the people who are not to find them and to do anything to them, but if they can kind of find out the type of people, the demographics of the people that are actually downloading this, do you think that they have an opportunity to kind of really almost get like free market testing in a way to see exactly who their audience is?
well, it was not free market testing because they are losing some money from people that may have actually decided they would buy the film beforehand, and then when they found out it's online, they decided just to buy it online, just to download it for free. But I'm sure they got a lot more people than they would have, like in terms of if it wasn't on, BitTorrent or something. A lot of people are more willing to check out an independent film if it's free. And if they like it, they might end up buying it. So it could work out in their favor. And actually, Daniel Springen from the Orlando Film Festival was saying something somewhat similar on Tuesday's show. He was saying that they make the screenings free at the Orlando Film Festival because you'd get a larger audience and you get more people willing to experiment with an indie film if it's free. Like someone might go to a festival, and if you have to pay $10 a ticket, they might go, "Oh, I'll see this film and this film, and that's it." But if it's free, they might go there for the day and check out a bunch of films just because it's free. So why not experiment a little?
Do you feel that? Do you feel that that the putting out the content for for free? In this case, they didn't put out the content for free, but
Yeah.
it was made free. But do you feel that they could get they could actually maybe capture the same type of audience that the Radiohead people caught when they released In Rainbows, and basically do it almost as a listen to it for free, but if you like it, pay for it.
I've heard of filmmakers saying they might do this in the future. I don't know if anyone really does this, but some have said to put their film for free on torrents and on websites and stuff like that. Oh, I'm sure I know of filmmakers that have put their film like on on their own website, and then drove traffic to their website and tried to get people to buy the DVDs and stuff. But I've heard of some filmmakers say that you should BitTorrent your own film, but impose like your website on it, and then you can even have like little ads on it to go to your website to buy the DVD and stuff. So that way you're controlling your own torrent, because eventually your film will probably, if it's good enough, will get torrented anyway. So just to put out the torrents right away, either while the DVDs are out or before the DVDs, to try to gain momentum for the DVD release.
Just as a little aside, I've actually would really be interested in knowing like how Ink even got leaked. Was it a reviewer screener, or was it someone who bought the movie and
Have you seen the BitTorrent, or know anyone who has?
No, I personally haven't. I actually I just got my review copy a day or two ago, and I'm very much looking forward to reviewing, because everyone who watches the show here said, "Oh, you got to check out this movie. You got to check out this movie."
I see, it's so bad, but I told them, don't send me a review copy. I know it costs them money. I'm gonna get it from Netflix, because I probably won't review it for a few weeks anyway, because I'm still catching up on everything.
Yeah.
So I'll get it from Netflix. It'll help you guys, put some more money in your pocket, or put some more DVDs on Netflix. And so I told them to keep their copies, although I really do want it.
Thanks for making me feel like a piece of crap now on that.
Well, I don't have the Blu-ray, so I'm going to have to get the DVD, which sucks.
Yeah, and actually, I told them, I said, look, I have a Blu-ray player. If you do feel so inclined, no pressure. And they said, oh, we want you to see it in HD, because it's, they're really proud of this film, and I'm really happy to see that they're doing so successfully with it. Now, the question I have also along with that is, do you think that this is going to hamper their distribution if they're getting that many downloads? I mean, do you really think that at this point a distributor is looking at them and just being like, if they've already got an audience that's that big, that is willing to go through the hassle of downloading it for free? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's as much as there's a bit of a gratification, a monetary gratification of just downloading a movie. If it's, especially depending on if you're downloading the HD quality version or just the regular DVD rip, I mean, you're looking at a movie that's minimum 700 meg, to 700 meg to a gig for a file. That doesn't take 5 minutes to download, even if you're on like Fios and all that kind of stuff, or Fios. You're generally, you may have a several day wait depending on how many people are seeding it and depending on how many people are trying to download it at the time. Do you think that it's almost just worth it do you think that shows a bigger dedication to the people that are willing to download this because they're waiting to, they may not spend the money on it, but they're willing to wait for it?
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I think distributors might look at it and be like, they do have an audience. There are people that are willing to go after it, even if it is for free. So why not? Because studios and distributors are always known for, hey, this content's out there for free. Let's package it with our label and try to sell it to them. So if they see that there's so many torrents for it and so many people are downloading it illegally, they might turn around and be like, maybe we should, reconsider this film and buy it, slap our name on it and make it seem like we did this whole film and we're, really important, and we, support indie, and then try to sell it back to the people that already saw it. So I don't think it hurt their chance with distributors. If anything, it helped them.
I agree with you. Do you think that that a model like this favors indie that has usually a much lower bottom line versus mainstream, that where the cost of marketing and also the cost of the film itself is a much higher number to recoup. So do you think that this particular way of actually, putting out your film or getting the name of your film out there is more effective in that case? Because and actually distributors might even it might benefit even distributors more, because again, like I said, the bottom line is a lot lower. Do you feel that kind of same way, or do you have anything to add to that?
It could be. I mean, obviously, with an indie film, your bottom line is going to be lower. And I was actually considering that at one point with stuff like Chuck. I was thinking of maybe putting the film online for free as for streaming, and then selling DVD copies of it to the fans, so that way they can get the bonus features and everything like that. And that was one of the thoughts I had. And I was like, I don't know if I'll do that. And I'm still trying to figure out if I would do that, or if I would do that in the future. Maybe if we could get on Netflix Instant Watch or something like that, we might promote, go see the movie for free on Netflix Instant Watch, and if you like it, buy the DVD from us. Right. Or something like that. So that is an option, but obviously with independent film, it's also a lot harder to recoup your money than a Hollywood film. So even though your bottom line is lower, it might be more difficult and more time-consuming to make up the bottom line, so that way you could actually start making a profit, or at least paying back your producers. So, and I think it kind of depends on the film and what you think your audience would be. Like, if you think your audience will eventually pay for something, if you can offer great bonus features, or if you can offer a better quality version of the film, if it's a very visual film, then maybe it might be worth it.
And I think in the case, director Jerry Cavallero here makes a very good point on that, specifically in regards to ink, because yes, you could probably pirate the DVD version. However, it'd be much more difficult to pirate the Blu-ray version, which is also something else they put out. And I think that people can appreciate watching the best quality of anything that actually is actually available. Maybe they're hoping that they can convert some of the the streaming DVD, not the streaming, but the torrented DVD non-sales into Blu-ray pre-sales or sales. Or
T-shirt sales,
or something like that. Yes. So I'm going to
guilt people. You saw the film for free and you loved it, so now buy the T-shirt and show everyone how much you love the film.
That I don't.
If I were the guys that did Ink, I know their names. I always forget them, but they're such great guys. They're great guy and lady.
Yep. Great people.
Yeah, great people. I would make a shirt that says I torrented Ink and I loved it, or something like that, and sell it on their site. I think that would be really funny, and I think they might get some sales on that. So, just market and capitalize on people stealing your shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know we're not supposed to curse on the Friday shows.
Yeah, thanks for that. But no, that's fine. That's relatively PG-13. But speaking of things that are 13. Today, Friday the 13th, and I got to tell you, I'm waiting for this live broadcast to get shut down due to technical difficulties, like it does every week, of course. Although Friday the 13th has generally been considered my lucky day, the only part of today so far that has not gone as planned, and I'll clue everyone in, we actually did an interview this morning with the director of the New Hampshire Film Office. Mr. Matthew Newton was nice enough to have us down actually at his office, and we did an interview with him live. We were actually going to stream that part of that interview tonight live here on the show. However, it just with the traveling back and forth and stuff like that, I just wasn't able to get it edited and posted in time in order to do it. But definitely, guys, look forward to that interview later on in the next day or so. And just so you guys know, for people who are relatively new to the show here, we actually have two shows. If you guys want to call in, the best time to call in, it would actually be on the Tuesday shows, which are at the same time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here, same place, www.filmsnobbery.com/live. The Friday shows are generally a bit more segmented, a bit more regimented. We only usually have one guest. and the show actually has a set runtime. This is the show that's recorded, it's edited later, and then posted on the net. So we're not doing any call-ins today for all you guys out there who are looking to call in. While I do appreciate it, but definitely join us on our Tuesday show, because we're going to have some. That show can go on forever. That show last Tuesday was what, 5 hours?
Yeah, I think it was like 5 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah, something to that effect. Yeah. So Friday the 13th. It's good stuff. We can break out our Jason Friday the 13th box sets. The Friday the 13th 1 through, what was the one? But it was right before they started doing. It was Jason Takes Manhattan, I think, was the last one that was actually considered a Friday the 13th series, and then it went over to actually the Jason movies, right?
No, well, it was Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan. That was part, I think, 7.
Right.
And then Jason Goes to Hell was 8, I believe, and then 9, which is Friday the 13th Part 9. Then it became Jason X, which was Jason in Space. And then they did Freddy vs. Jason, which was 11. So, and then there's the Friday the 13th remake. So it was, I think 8 was Jason Takes Manhattan. So they did go back to the Friday the 13th, just Friday the 13th without, or maybe there was a subtitle to it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I guess the idea was that who was it? It used to be either with, was it Dimension or something, or New Line that it used to be with, and that's even why they had such a hard time getting the whole Freddy versus Jason thing.
That was like 10 years in the making, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of Part 9, I believe, he
No, it was
Manhattan, right?
No. It was Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. That was the one where at the end the Freddy glove comes up.
So that one was 8, right?
I have actually. I thought that was 9, and then he came back in Jason X.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I know that they did the whole Freddy Krueger thing, and then they went to, they had the glove, and then they were like, oh, it's gonna be Freddy versus Jason, and that was like 1993. We were gonna get that, and then that never happened. And then finally, like in 2000, like 10 years later, they finally went through with that. But I actually enjoyed that. So I don't know, it's like, it's not a great movie, but it's fun.
The later Jason movies, while they're not really that great as horror movies, they kind of went the same way as actually a lot of the Freddy movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, where they kind of added in a lot more camp to it.
Yeah. Well, my favorite of the early ones, like, I mean, I'm not counting like Jason X, I'm counting the ones like up until the 90s, early 90s. My favorite, I think, is Jason, is Part 6, where it's like when they tried to make it a comedy. That's actually the one where he becomes Zombie Jason, also.
Oh, okay. Is that the one with is that the one with Tommy Jarvis, or is that the one with Corey Feldman, or is that the one with?
It's Part 3 where he actually kills him with his own machete,
right?
By dressing up as him, and then they did Then they did Part 4 when they brought him back, and it wasn't really him. Or that was 5. I know one of them they had Jason like killing people, and then you found out it was actually an ambulance driver and it wasn't Jason, and they took his mask off and it was just some guy that was going around as Jason.
Right.
But I think that was 5, because then Part 6, the guy from 5 who like killed the Jason ambulance driver at the end ends up being like the lead, and they think he's crazy in the beginning. But it was actually really funny, and that's the only Friday the 13th where there were actually kids at the camp. And but they wussed out and didn't kill a single kid.
I think there's a missed opportunity there. Now that being said, they were saying that Friday the 13th went kind of in the camp direction. One of the other things that you've seen recently that you kind of said, hey, I'd love to talk about this. That's both campy and also kind of harkens back to a different era. Is the new comedy, Black Dynamite, that just came out.
Black Dynamite is awesome. I actually saw that a while ago. I saw it at Tribeca, but now it's opening wider. It's not opening wide, but it's opening wider. I believe like 3 weeks ago it opened in New York and LA and maybe a few other cities. But starting tonight, they're doing a wider release where they're opening up, I think, in Ohio and a couple of other cities. And over the next couple of weeks, they're going to be opening in different cities at midnight screenings, and then they're going to do like full day screenings, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
'That's a fun movie. It's, I mean, I like, I'm not counting like Jason X, I'm counting the ones like up until the 90s, early 90s. But that was a fun movie. That was just, it's, I mean, I like it's not a spoof. It's a spoof of the genre in a sense, but it's not a spoof of any particular movies. It's like an original storyline, but it's completely seems like it's something that would have been released in the 70s.
Yep.
And it's a really funny film, really fun. Some really crazy stuff going on in it.
And a return, kind of a return to the limelight from Michael Jai White too, which the last time I remember seeing him in anything substantial was actually Todd McFarlane's Spawn movie, the live action Spawn movie.
I didn't even know he was in that.
He played Spawn.
I didn't really know who he was, but I mean, I got to meet him. He was a really awesome guy. I met him at Tribeca, and he's hysterical in the movie. He's just brilliant in the role, and it is so quotable. Like the movie has like so many moments where you can ask like 50 people after a screening, "What's your favorite quote?" and you can get 50 different quotes.
Nice.
Like it's really a quotable movie. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait for the Blu-ray to come out because I'm sure it'll look really good on Blu-ray with the added film grain and like the faded 70s film look to it. But I think it's a shame that it did not get a wider release. I really think that they could have released this one nationwide and it would have made some money. It would have made some serious money because it's a hysterical movie. Everyone I've talked to that saw it really loved it. It got great reviews. One of my favorite films at Tribeca. I think it's a shame it didn't get a wider release. But,
to be fair, they say that one of the worst months to actually release a movie is October, and now we're moved into November, but I know that it just started kind of opening a limited release. A little bit towards the end of October, and I mean that was the reason why a lot of other films have failed, is trying to capture that end of October, beginning of November crowd, and there just apparently is no crowd during that time. Do you think that maybe that's why they've kind of held off, or they've just done these limited screenings?
I don't know. I think it could have been released earlier. I mean, Sony picked it up a while ago, and I did see I saw like trailers for it, and that said it was coming out fall 2009. But then I didn't see any advertising for a long time. I didn't even know it came out 2 weeks ago until I heard today that it was opening wider. So I was like, wait, it opened limited? Like, when did it open? And then I saw it, and it wasn't even really a wider release. It was just like somewhat wider, like a few extra cities.
Yep.
But I think if they released it back in, I know September is also a really bad time for movies usually. But I think if they were going to do the whole limited thing. If they released it then, come Halloween, there would have been plenty of people dressing up as Black Dynamite for Halloween. I really think that would have been the case because it's just a fun character, and I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe if it gets bigger and then on DVD like becomes a huge hit, there's going to be people as Black Dynamite next year for Halloween. But I don't know. I'm not sure what their reasoning was for their release schedule. I don't know why most studios release films the way they do.
Yeah, it's
terrible. Usually movies come out when they shouldn't.
Yep. So, that being said, just want to touch upon something real quick before our guest comes on. Our guest that's coming on is Lisamarie Costabile, and she's going to be coming on in a few minutes. The one thing that we definitely want to talk about her being an actress and getting herself out there and stuff like that is we want to kind of appeal to the actors and actresses that are out there, and we want to kind of explain to them and express to them just briefly the importance of having that professional appearance, both not just necessarily in front of a camera and showing up to casting calls and stuff like that with your headshot and resume. I mean, that goes without saying. But you definitely, we've touched upon it in the past, I'm going to touch upon it again, you definitely need to get yourself out there, get involved in social media, get involved with your own website, your own brand. Make sure that, if you have an email address, it's not necessarily something that is, at AOL.com or at gmail.com. You want to have something that is at, whatever your name is or your production company's name is.com. There are a lot of movies out there that are now casting via the web. Having a demo reel online on your website is not, and also available, virally via YouTube, Vimeo, Vidler, all these other all these other media outlets is a great idea and a great way for you guys to kind of find an audience, and for that audience, particularly people who are looking to hire you, it's a great way for them to find you. Also, let's keep in mind that you have to sleep sometime, but the internet never does. So you could technically be out there, kind of plugging yourself, for these movies and for these roles and or whatever, 24/7, because your demo reel and your information is always out there for people like myself or casting agents or directors or producers, always out there for people to find. And you never know who's going to be the next big thing and where they might be discovered. So just kind of touching upon that briefly, wanted to just say that that's the way to go. So what we're going to do now is we're gonna go kind of go into what is the second part of the show. I'm going to say goodbye in a moment to this particular part of the show. We're going to transfer over to the next part. First, I want to thank a bunch of people. We've had such a busy week here. I want to thank the director of the New Hampshire Film Commission. I want to thank Matthew Newton for having us at their office today. You can actually find them over at www.nh.gov/film. You can also, I want to thank everyone who joined us here in the chat room tonight. Specifically, I want to thank Marinelle and John Dragonis, Stereo for Brains, obviously. I want to thank my co-host here, Director Jerry Cavallero. I just want to thank everyone in general who's been supporting us up till now. Also want to let you guys know you can find us over at www.filmsnobbery.com, where we have different reviews and tips and tricks and a whole bunch of other stuff every week. You can join us again on our live show, same time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here at filmsnobbery.com/live. Find us on Twitter also at twitter.com/filmsnobbery. And also fan us up on Facebook at facebook.com/filmsnobbery. So thank you, everyone. You guys all have a good night. Stick around. Here's the guest. I want to give a warm welcome to actually our first female guest on our live show, and she's quite the guest. She's an all-arounder. Also happens to be from my neck of the woods here. I want to give a nice warm welcome to Lisamarie Costabile. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Just chilling out here in LA.
Excellent.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for agreeing to kind of come on. I know it was a little last minute, but we, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day, and I've looked at your both your filmography and also your what you do, your acting resume, and I got to tell you, you are busy. So I'm actually kind of happy to be able to speak to you.
Oh, thanks so much. I'm busy, but you can always be busier. So
that is something that is uniquely said by actors and actresses all the time when I talk to them. How are you? Oh, I'm busy. I could be busier.
Right. There's never enough hours in the day.
No.
There's always something to do in film. So.
And speaking of which, you work both behind the camera, also in front of the camera in many different capacities. You've done makeup, you've done directing, producing, line producing. You've done you've even done things hostessing, emceeing, acting, obviously, different in theater, both in theater, television, and film. Is there any one media that you prefer to work in as far as acting is concerned? And also, I guess the next part of that question is, do you have a preference between in front of the camera and behind the camera?
Well, first let me start. I love acting. As far as acting, I love doing independent films. Not opposed, definitely, to studio films. I find the scripts for indies are much meatier and character-driven, which I love. I love to be able to play with the character and develop it with the director. Are you talking about the live break into hosting was sort of, again, by accident? It just happened. Someone said, do you want to come to this red carpet event? And the next thing I know, I ended up just starting to do red carpet events for people here in LA. It's a big market here. It's very interesting. Where out in the East Coast, it's not as much of a market, but here it's pretty big.
Yeah, it seems like out there in LA, they're having red carpet events or LA or just California in general, they're having red carpet events every day, yeah.
All the time. Yeah. Plus I've done I've been on the road a whole lot doing live events through sketch comedy, so I've just been on the road constantly, and I didn't, I guess I just ended up doing it. I don't know, people just hired me, and I never really had a reel or a resume, and just word of mouth, and people said, hey, you want to come to Iowa, or I've been to Iowa actually doing sketch comedy, or do you want to come to New Hampshire? Or I'm like, sure, why not? So.
And speaking of your experience both in sketch comedy and also just you also happen to have a very extensive list of training that you've done for your craft, and that's something that is awesome. I mean, you studied the Meisner technique. You've done playwriting workshops. You studied movement, scene studies, on-camera techniques, different voices and dialects. A little bit of everything, and I'm just wondering, do you feel that that's really important as for your progression as an actress, and do you recommend that that's something that a lot of people that are getting into the business should do?
Well, I always recommend, like, if someone, like a young actress is like 19 and she's thinking, should I go to school or not, I would totally recommend going to a university, maybe like Carnegie Mellon or Yale Drama or Juilliard, because what happens is once they're out of school, they do have a calling card. It's true, they really do. But if somebody is going, let's say they go through 4 years of school and they decide they want to be an actor, I'm a huge person on hands-on, so I believe that, like, as far as filmmaking, I came from the school of just getting on set and learning everything I could possibly learn. But with acting, I would definitely suggest starting off in the theater. And that's why the Brits are so good, because they've been doing theater their whole lives, and it just gives confidence, and you can develop a character. But the good thing about acting, in fact, I didn't really train as a serious actress only until maybe like 5 years ago, and that happened by chance. I was on set. I was on 2 different sets. I was on one. And I definitely want to talk about these people because they're total mentors to me. I love them, and they just the most amazing people. One of them is David Zayas. I was working on the indie film, and I just want to talk about that because I was not acting in this indie film. It's called La Araña, and I think my credit on there is maybe makeup or wardrobe. I don't even remember, but I was doing everything on the set. And this is before David became very successful, and he was like, Lisamarie, you totally have to go study Meisner at Maggie Flanagan's. It'll change your life. And in fact, Dave now is on Dexter, David Zayas, one of the most talented actors, Latina actors out there. And so he really encouraged me. And then I was like, whatever, and I just sort of still toyed around with the whole, should I go study for 2.5 years of grueling studying. And then I was on another set, which is called 4 Simple Rules, which another big mentor of mine, Jeff O'Connor, a director who definitely gave me a break doing crew work. He was going to cast me, and then he decided against casting me leading Bruce Altman because I was a little too young at the time. And so Bruce also said, you're so not a makeup artist, you're not artsy enough, you should be an actress, Lisamarie, and you should go study Meisner with Maggie Flanagan. And so that's exactly what I did, and I went through 2.5 years of grueling, intense training, and if you ever go to her website, she's trained the most successful actors today. But because of that, right after I got out of school, I booked 10 indie films, like, to back in a second. And it was because of the people had seen the training, and they said, oh, okay, so she could totally handle this. We have a lead part in the film coming up, and it starts in a week. We know she can handle it because she went through the Meisner training program with Maggie Flanagan. So it's definitely a good thing. It doesn't hurt at all.
And just for the people who are out there who aren't familiar, what exactly does the Meisner method kind of, what does that entail?
Repetition? No, a bunch of different things, but I want to make it clear that sometimes there are different tools for different actors. I don't want to say I'm totally Meisner because I was able to study Strasberg with Lee Strasberg's son John, which was also quite amazing. But Strasberg is more, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just the method. It's the same as the method. And Meisner's more in the moment repetition, you're being able to listen and respond. And again, all these tools, it's always good to have tools. You don't have to use anything. I think the most important thing that actors have to learn is to, number one, show up on time and be prepared and really be open to work with the director and take big risks. That's what I do. I'm really known to take risks. A lot of actors are incredibly intimidated. That's why I always encourage actors to get on as many sets as they possibly can. And also I want to mention, this is like the filmmaker in me, is that I think every actor should be required to do crew, at least for a short, like a week. They should either PA or do something, because a lot of times that's on sets, that's the division of actor versus crew, is that they're so divided. And when I go on a set, there's never a division, because I have so much respect for a filmmaker and a director, because they just work endless hours, and I'm not one of those actors. And it's very important that actors know this, that you cannot show up on set. And they do, a lot of them do. And they'll say, well, where's the craft service and where's the coffee? Meanwhile, the gaffer's been standing out in the rain for, 12 hours to have the perfect light. So I think every actor should be required. I think SAG should pass this law that every actor should be required to work crew.
And I noticed that you are both SAG and AFTRA. Do you find it, but you also work with a lot of independents. Do you find it, do you find it easy to work with the SAG and stuff like that to when you're going to work with these? Do you find it, the transition, do you find it's easy to get those roles, regardless of whether or not you? It
is. That's actually a great question, and I also want to. I hope there are actors listening, because I want to drill it into their heads. They're so excited to let me join SAG. I waited forever. I worked on screen with David Zayas. I worked with, I'm looking at my resume, I don't remember, all these known actors, a bunch of Sopranos, and I was non-SAG and they were SAG. What they get is a SAG experimental contract, and a lot of times directors and producers, SAG can be really tough, but if you, I think there's a SAG experimental contract that is, if it's under X amount of dollars, then they'll give you sort of let you shoot with SAG actors. So that's not really that much of a problem. And I think now with the internet so intense and everyone's wanting to shoot and put it on YouTube and the internet, I think SAG is definitely more forgiving, and they're changing their contracts as well. But I want to stress that actors are so quick to join the union and they have no reel. And that is such a huge mistake, because they want to say they were SAG again. I waited forever. I would not join because I kept shooting, and I have so much footage in a reel of every sort of character, even though I never look at it because I can't stand looking at my myself on screen. So, but it's important to have a reel, and I think that it's really important that actors do that way before they join SAG. Definitely.
Oh, that's a good point, because I could definitely see how if you don't have a really good resume already set up, when you get into SAG, I guess it's SAG at that point, they kind of want, when you go to those jobs, they want to see that you have a bit of experience and not just a SAG card. Plus,
right.
You kind of want to work so you can get the money to pay those dues, because I hear they're not cheap.
No, I think it's like $1,200, and then it's so annoying that when I get my dues, my dues is pretty much the same as Julia Roberts, which doesn't make sense to me.
Huh.
So if I make X amount of dollars, I have to pay the same. It's like George Clooney and Julia Roberts. It's just, that's odd. But
well, on the plus side, they're at least treating you all relatively equal in that regard.
In them wanting to take our money and take,
yeah,
of course they are.
Yeah.
But as far as health insurance and all that, no, not really. Not really. But SAG is cool, and AFTRA is cool, and I'm definitely won't say anything bad about them. But working in indie, it's not the be all end all to be SAG, and there's so many actors that are incredibly green that just want to join and run around with their card, and they have no experience on set. They have no reel. So once you're locked in a SAG, you're pretty much locked in. So, and I waited. I think I got my SAG card on what movie was the name of my resume? I completely forget. I waited, and they're like, "We don't even have to join. You cannot." Michael Clayton. I got my SAG card on Michael Clayton. I got a line on Michael Clayton.
So what does a young lady like yourself, who's from my neck of the woods here in Massachusetts, what drove you to become an actress, and then also decide, like, hey, I'm gonna take this to L.A. as opposed to, say, New York?
Well, I did. I spent a lot of time in New York. I started in the entertainment industry when I was about 6. I was a performing figure skater for many years. So I've been on sets, and like my weekends when I was 6 and 8 were rehearsals and makeup and wardrobe, and I had a stage mom and stuff. So I've always been around production and sets, and I think that's why I easily went behind the scenes as well, because I always, I learned from the best people, and I've been very lucky in that regard as well. So I started basically in Boston, and I was modeling, and then I ended up working with this French photographer, Jean Renard, who was doing a bunch of stuff with musicians and rock bands, most of the rock bands out of Boston. And so I was modeling, and of course, what a model hang out with musicians, and then it's like, you're really good at art direction. And I was still in high school at this time, and he said, do you want to do this project? And I was like, all right, that sounds good. And little did I know, it was for Polaroid, and I ended up art directing at such a young age. And I was getting paid really well, and I was doing incredible projects, and I was completely trusted with creativity, so I could work with the creative directors of Polaroid, and they'd just say, oh, Lisamarie can take care of it. So I ended up at such a young age doing that, and casting the models and the people, or getting the musicians, and doing wardrobe, clothing, backdrops, everything. So that's how I really started as far as working behind the scenes, like heavy hardcore working behind the scenes. It was really cool.
Do you have a yeah, actually I want to talk about what are you're working now, you've directed some stuff. What are you working, what are some of the projects that you're actually working on now? I want to make sure that we get a chance to get people to, get you a little exposure so they can kind of look out for what's
that's so sweet of you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm a very sweet person.
I'm sorry.
I said I'm a very sweet person. No, go ahead.
I guess I'll tell you. Okay, so it's interesting. The name of my company is Monkey Baby Films, and I have my partner in crime is Mark Larson, and we've been doing. I have a small independent film company. We just do indies, and we've been doing a lot of documentaries for some reason. It's just sort of that whole thing just again fell on my lap. Things just come to me, I guess. And one of them is called Vinny's Rock and Roll Boneyard. And who's mentoring me in that is Al Measles. Are you familiar with Al Measles?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't place the title.
Yeah, he directed Gimme Shelter with the Rolling Stones. He just worked with Martin Scorsese. Like he was in the 70s one of the only documentary filmmakers, him and his brother, and he directed Grey Gardens.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's the cool dude. He's the dude, trust me. And he's the guy if you want to have a mentor in a documentary film. He's the guy to have. So I met him by chance in New York, and he's been sort of guiding me, and so that's in post. And then I've also worked on, it's called Little Baby Face, and I did part 1, co-directed it, and right now I'm working on in post part 2, and then I'm filming right now another one called Environment of People, and it's eops.org, and also Little Babyface. You can check it out at littlebabyface.org. And what else? And I'm shopping a couple scripts. One of them, Mark Larson wrote, is called In the Blood of Eden, and it's about Mormon family drama. And that I think we're shooting that. We're going to aim for next, probably early spring. And we're definitely actively looking for semi-name actors, and we've got a DP, so we're always looking for people with that. And a couple other companies that I'm working with, and this is just totally by chance. This one is called Guerrilla Film Factory, which is a really good friend of mine, a director by the name of Hank Jacobs. He directed and I produced a film where we started working together called Husband and Wife Swap, and aired at Instant Films, and it won a couple of awards. Hank's great, and the name of his company again is the Guerrilla Film Factory, and I'm shopping his script. It's called Circus to the End of the World. Very intense script. I think he has a synopsis of it. I don't want to get into synopsis right now.
That's okay. No, actually, Hank seems like a good guy. I actually just started following him on Twitter.
Yeah,
so
he's, I want to also get into how, like, the integrity of being an actor in filmmaking, and it's such a small world. I met Hank through a good friend of mine, Trish Dalton, who's also a filmmaker in New York, and Hank and I had never met, and she was telling Hank, "You've got to meet Lisamarie. You know, she is she can totally produce some of your things." And we were just sort of instant messaging Facebook, and Hank's like, I have this project coming up. I want to do it. Do you want to meet for coffee, see if you might be interested in producing it? And so then, of course, I met Hank, and I'm like, okay, so what do you need? And within, we were in pre-production, and we were shooting within a week and a half, and I got the best crew involved, and it was really good. That project turned out great. So we've been aiming to do other stuff. So it's such a small world. So from that project that Hank and I did, and it was called Husband and Wife Swap, I got a really great talent. His name is Jim Towns, and it's hilarious because the name of his company is Mad Monkey Productions, and it was totally by fluke. Anyway, Jim Towns, I hired him to do production design on Husband and Wife Swap with Instant Films, and he now is directing something that he asked me to be in. And then, in fact, I just talked to him a little while ago, and I said, well, again, what do you need? And so now I'm also producing. So a lot of times people call me when they need something. So that's the first question out of my mouth. What can I do for you, and how can I make you happy?
Well,
and then it just will go from there. So.
Well, right now
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, right now you're making me very happy, and I want to just remind everyone who's just joining us, we're speaking with Lisamarie Costabile. I always want to say it right, Costabile.
Costabile. That's a very Bostonian name, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, I don't. There's no R's in there, so I can't mess that up.
That's pretty funny. I think I was the darkest person where I grew up in a small little hick town. I was like the only brunette that got really tan, and people were like, is she Spanish or what is she? Oh my gosh, she's so dark. But wait, her eyes are light. So no, I mean, obviously, I grew up with a lot of Coles and Hall and Downs, and then when I got older, I'm like, okay, Costabile, Cole. Okay, I see the difference. Okay, I'm totally different.
Yeah,
it's different.
Yeah, I'm more of the white pasty variety here in Massachusetts. Really, I mean, there's no doubting where my ancestry is from. It's definitely from a very pale country.
What is your last name again?
It's Baisley, but that is actually my grandfather's name, but he was actually adopted many times. So I can't trace my ancestry on my father's side past him. But my mother's maiden name, for all of you who are looking into my bank statements, because they always ask for your mother's maiden name, it's actually LaRue. LaRue, which is it's literally, I mean, in French it means the street. So you really can't get much more French than LaRue. And occasionally I like to parlez-vous. Yes.
When we hang up, I have to tell you something, but I'll tell you when we hang up. I won't say it on air. But wow, so you were pretty white, boy.
Yeah, a little bit. Occasionally I'm transparent. I'm so light.
Right.
But you know what?
You're not like ink at all.
No, certainly not. No. But you know what? Having a friend like yourself who's a makeup artist, maybe you can make me appear a little bit more, shall we say, camera ready. And speaking as someone who's worked in the art department and specifically in makeup, there are a lot of independent films out there that I notice they do their makeup themselves, or they just really don't use anything. It's basically just like, look, just take a shower and come to set. Do you feel that an independent production, especially some of these ultra low budget indies, would really benefit from having someone on set doing this makeup, or do you think that they can kind of get away with it, or try to do it themselves?
Depends on what kind of look they're going for. Like if you look at a lot of British films or films done in Scotland, it's very raw. Like the look depends on what you want. I mean, if you're shooting in high def, obviously, it's very crisp, and a lot of times people don't like to show that. I don't like the skin that way. But I don't think 35 will go away, and I'll tell you why, because a lot of major celebrities will not shoot in digital, and I know for a fact because one of my dearest friends is like an executive at Kodak, and he's like, we're not going to go out of business because there is still vanity in Hollywood. People, if a name actor or an actress has a say, everyone looks just so much prettier in film. They really do. Unless, well, I mean, most of the time anyway. So yeah. I think, well, with the indie film, you're talking indie, which I've done a gazillion of them, and I've been in the middle of nowhere and in Scotland looking for the Loch Ness Monster, and I think it's important for actors, again, back to the actor, to always bring makeup and hair and be ready and have what I call camera wardrobe, have an outfit that's ready to fly, because a lot of times maybe the company hires a makeup artist that's, number one, not good, or number two, they get a better gig and they don't show up. So actors definitely should be prepared, and it drives me insane when they're not. It just, I can't even tell you when an actor shows up and is not prepared. So it's just, they should come ready, definitely.
Both men and women, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, I'm not going to mention any names, but the actors and actresses that you think that aren't into their looks, they're into their looks just as much as the ones who are really hot and beautiful. And then the ones, everyone wants to look good. If they think, and I've noticed that as a makeup artist, I've experienced incredibly rude people to me, and I've experienced really nice people to me, and because the makeup artist is the person that is hanging out with the talent a lot, and then they have to go to set. So we're sort of like, I hate to say this, we could be the fluffer on set.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. I'm paying attention now.
Amazing makeup jobs, and not because I'm the most talented at makeup. I mean, I'm okay, but I think I get it because I'm just nice and I smile and I can flop.
Wow. Well, we're always breaking news here at FilmSnobbery. Lisamarie Costabile, makeup fluffer for independent film.
I smile a lot. That's all. It makes
Nice.
me feel good. That's it.
Nice.
That's it. But at the same time, an actor sitting down in the chair, they should be nice, because I have a quick story for you. I was doing makeup for this actress who was a known actress, and if I said her name, you would know who she is, and I'm not going to tell you. And she was being incredibly mean to me and really rude, and I was just like, whatever. I'm just concentrating on doing my thing. And so I'm trying to strike up a conversation with her. I'm like, so what are you up to? And she said, oh, I got back from this. And then I'm like, well, what else are you doing? And she said, oh, I'm doing this film. And she named the film. And I said, really? That is so cool, because my really good friend is the executive producer and producer on that. That's amazing. Wow, what a small world. I think I'm going to text him right now and tell him that you're here with me, and we're just, you're here. Here you are. And she just wanted to just die. And then, of course, she was kissing my tail the rest of the time. And I just, again, smiled and realized that she's not working a whole lot right now.
Do you see that a lot in kind of specifically? I'm guessing more so Hollywood than probably New York. Do you see?
You know what? It's the same, and that is a myth that a lot of people have with, New York is so truthful and LA is so fake. I wouldn't be spending a whole lot of time with people who are fake. I can't even take it. It just drives me insane. It's not even in my makeup to even be around those people. I mean, unless I had to and the pay was good and I was on set, and you always run across people like that. But the falseness and the fakeness is both coasts, and people can be super nice here. And I've been lucky enough to work with some great people here already. I want to give a shout out to Sacred Fools, which is a great theater company that I'm affiliated with right now, and I'm getting involved with them. And Sacred Fools, you can check them out on Twitter. They have a pool of incredible talent, a pool of great writers, and a pool of great directors, and they do amazing productions, and they've been more than warm and welcoming. Where I mean, New York was great. I got to be in the theater and be affiliated and talk to like John Patrick Shanley with the Labyrinth Theater and all that. But New York can be hardcore with the theater, where in LA, especially with Sacred Fools, it's great writing, great sketch comedy, and they're just so warm and welcoming, and I'm so lucky to be a part of them.
Yeah,
Really.
I can definitely tell that New York definitely has that heaviness about it. I've seen Fame.
No, and I did. So where did you go to school? You know, yeah, totally. And that's another thing, too, that I want to point out, compared to, even like with crew work, compared to New York and LA, I think part of it is because of locations. I'll be honest with you. I think it's because of locations where in LA people can be shooting. You don't necessarily need to pull permits, like to go to someone's house in Sherman Oaks and shoot. You know, you could just say, okay, the shoot starts at 9. We have the whole crew will be there. What I have found compared to New York would be having people call me or here's my card, and it never really went anywhere. In LA, I can't tell you how many times I've been out and people have said, I think I really want to put you in my film, or I'm going to write a part for you, or I think you're wacky and hilarious. What are you doing? Do you want to come hang out? What can you do? I want you on my set. So, and literally the next day I'm on a set, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. This is incredible.
Right, but aside from porn, how do you get roles? No, I'm kidding. Because,
I don't. You know what? I don't get enough. Trust me.
me neither, and I mean that in every sense of the word.
Did I catch a little ball busting here? Do you really want me to start?
I think we're out of time. No. See, that's how it works when you're the host. You know, you get the bus.
We didn't talk about me enough.
Oh,
No,
we can.
There's a bunch of people I want to plug.
Well,
so many people I want to plug.
I will say let's plug them all now because we are kind of running out of time. But I want to make sure that everyone knows where everyone can find Lisamarie Costabile, all her future projects, and all the people that she's working with currently, because we need to build that community and make sure that everyone knows where to find each other. So, ready, go.
Oh, please, putting me on the spot. Okay, Lisamarie Costabile, I think you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on MySpace and on Twitter, Lisamarie Babe. And contact me. I'm always looking for actors and crew. Definitely, actually, for a project with Jim Towns, I am looking for a DP right now. And that's going to be a really visual picture and definitely female-driven, which will be cool. Crew people ask to contact me. I want to give a shout-out to Mike Rotman, who we've started connecting on Twitter, and he's doing something called stupidformovies.com. He's a huge Boston fan as well, and I think he's hilarious and funny, really incredible writer. And also Sacred Fools, I mentioned them. And also I'm going to be working with Jan Hughes out of Chicago. Jan took me on the road like 10 years ago with some of the most hilarious, great stand-up comics like Tim Walco, who's from Chicago, and Del Warren. So I will be in Chicago at some point very soon. Also, Biscayne Productions. This is another company I worked with, and it's called Biscayne Productions, Wells Malkin, and he's cast me in a bunch of Sandals and Caesars Resort commercials, and also Strike TV with Peter. Strike is a great organization. If anyone ever wants to get involved with them, it's such a great online, up-and-coming online TV programming, strike, whatever you want to call it.
They're an online content distributor. Yeah, we've.
Yeah, that's it. See, I'm terrible. And if anyone knows how to design a website or teach me how to Twitter properly, I am like totally oblivious. And I also want to give a shout out to a friend of mine called Michael Damon. He's out in Ohio shooting, I believe, a web series or a series, possibly could go to the network. And their site is J8CED.com. They're doing some amazing stuff. Again, another indie production. Yay for indie. They started working, I don't know how long ago, but they've been working their tails off, and they have some incredible stuff. Check out their website. It's on J8CED.com, and that's Michael Damon over in Ohio. And did I forget anybody else? Monkey Baby Films is the name of my company. Monkey Baby Films, and what else? I think that's it right now.
Well,
I just don't want to forget anybody. I feel really bad.
That's it right now. I got to tell you, I'm tired just hearing that. And I've been sitting here listening the whole time. That's a lot of that. But you know what?
My conversation is making you tired.
No. It's just the fact that you are one of the busiest working actresses that we've had the opportunity to speak with recently.
I don't know about that.
Well, it just goes to show you that you stay busy and you stay within the you stay knowledgeable within the industry and you're involved on both sides of the camera. I think that's really important what you're doing. I think that I'm definitely we here at FilmSnobbery, myself specifically, definitely support what you're doing, and I wish we had more time to kind of keep going in on stuff, but I think that we're gonna have to have you back another time when we'll have you plugging and talking about your next film, possibly when maybe part 2 of Little Babyface comes out, or
Yeah, sure. I'm going to be shooting Devil's Canyon with Jim Towns. We're in pre-production right now, and tomorrow morning I'll be shooting another film. I'll be in it. With the Japanese director Jeremy Yamaguchi, and it's called Two Angels. So I'll be up tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock shooting an independent film. Yay!
Yay! Yay for indie!
One last thing, I want to come back to Boston, and I'm gonna definitely shoot something there. Definitely use it for location, and I will totally look you up. And if you need anything out here in LA, totally let me know. What would make you happy is the question.
Well, that's quite the list.
In the film arena, in the arena of film, what do you need and what would make you happy?
Again, quite a list. But no, we could definitely talk about that. And no, thank you very much. And definitely, if you're ever up in Boston while I'm still around this area, I will be more than happy to take you out to dinner and show you.
Cool.
Not that I have to show you around, but I would.
Have a wicked good time.
Oh, it'll be wicked. It'll be wicked pissa.
You can take me for some chowder.
Some chata, I was thinking we'll take the car, go for a nice drive, then we'll maybe go park somewhere and maybe just kind of look at some of the stuff out there.
Yeah, that sounds wicked good.
Wicked good. Maybe go hit one, the Comedy Connection in Faneuil Hall. Something of that nature.
We didn't get to talk about Dennis Leary. Oh my God.
We're running out of time real quick, but I just wanted to say she was actually, I was talking with Lisamarie earlier, and for all of you guys out there, she was actually, I let her know she was in one of my favorite shows that's on TV on FX right now, and that's Rescue Me with Dennis Leary, done by Dennis Leary and Tolan. I can't remember his freaking first name. Peter Tolan. Peter Tolan. Thank you. And she did some work on that on a couple of episodes, and just also went to reinforce for me that Dennis Leary is the man, and one of the best talents to come out of Boston or Massachusetts in general in a long time. Because he's actually from Worcester. He's actually from my neck, literally Worcester boy, right from my hometown.
Worcester boy.
So, but thank you very much, Lisa. Everyone, again.
Thank you.
Lisamarie, everyone can find Lisamarie Costabile over at, on Twitter at Lisamarie Babes. We can find her over on Facebook. You can find her on MySpace. Look her up. Check out her filmography. It's about as long as a read as The Great Gatsby, because she is one of the busiest persons I've had the pleasure of interviewing in the recent past. Thank you very much on this Friday the 13th for getting me out of a jam by agreeing to come on, and just goes to show you the power of Twitter. We actually just put out a quick call it a casting call, if you will, for a guest for tonight's show. As we were looking for a female to kind of break up the sausage fest that is FilmSnobbery, and and Lisamarie says, I will definitely I will take care of that sausage for you, and I said thank you. And but no, thank you very much. I appreciate having you on, and you're welcome to come on anytime as long as you want to, of course. And
Sure.
and
Thank you.
thank you everyone for out there. We're gonna see you next week. We'll see you Tuesday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time p.m. Here again at filmsnobbery.com/live. That's the freeform show where anyone can call in, and that show could go for as many hours as until I get tired, basically. So thank you, and that's a wrap, everyone. Good night.
Night.